I'm your host, Locum23. You're joining me for Court of Nightfall, Chapter 4. Dad takes you out hunting a lot these days. Well, not a lot, but at least once a month. You both have your bow and quiver as you're sneaking through the underbrush. Dad spots a buck standing in a small clearing. He draws an arrow and lowers his voice to a whisper. Okay, when you're ready to fire, wait until you're exhaling. Steadies your aim. Got it? He lowers his bow. You pull an arrow from your quiver and take aim. You inhale deeply. I'll aim for the deer. We need the meat. You steady your arrow and center on the torso of the buck. You exhale and fire. The arrow strikes the ground a foot from the deer's hind legs. It looks back in surprise and bounds off into the forest. You run and collect your arrow. You're not focusing. I don't like killing. I don't either, Star. Pulls his bow taut. He's already found a doe off to the side. He takes aim. He shoots his arrow and impales the creature's heart, and with a loud moan it falls to the ground. You cringe. Hunting always makes you uneasy. Now, look for another. Ugh. You can already see yourself skinning that poor doe. The insides of an animal are not pretty and the smell is horrible. Why are we doing this, Star? For the people at the Domus Infirmus. That's right. The sick house needs our help. Sick people need our help. And you're gonna grin and bear it. Dad grabs the doe by its hind legs and drags it over to the bush with you. We're not leaving today until you make a kill. I need you to understand how important it is to be able to do that. Killing is never fun, but sometimes it is a necessity. There are times when you simply can't hesitate. The stakes are just too high. I know, Dad. I'll try. It takes at least another hour, but you manage to find a buck, and you inch closer to it. Take as long as you need. Focus. You don't clear your mind, but you try to imagine that the buck is a man wearing a viper jacket and a dark hood. He's wearing a ring that kills. He traffics innocent Zenith for money. He's Apex, the leader of Zenith smugglers the world over. And you'll find him. You loose your arrow, and the buck falls to the ground, thrashing in its dying throes. You walk over to its corpse, and you no longer see the man, but a deer. And deers will feed the poor in town for a week. You both carry the deer back to the small clearing and begin the process of skinning. This is so gross. I should ask Evie to do it. Evie, can you do this instead? I'm sorry, Scarlet. I have no physical form. As you know, you'll have to suck it up and do it yourself. His eye faint a defeated look. I ought to delete you, you know. Come on, Scarlet, quit tormenting your poor AI. Let's get started. Dad pulls out his tools, a 4-inch blade, 2 pairs of gloves, towels, and bags. You do the deer first. Dad guides his knife into the back of the buck. First, you cut along here. You freeze the intestines from the pelvic bone. Dad holds your hands as you push the knife in, but the meat can be hard to cut. You push harder. Careful! Pushing harder and you'll spill and contaminate the meat. That's not the only reason I don't want to spill deer guts all over myself, Dad. This is so nasty. Dad laughs. You're not laughing. After cutting open, you lean the carcass onto the hillside and let the guts spill out. It's all glamorous as it sounds. Dad continues with deeper cuts. Cold beads of sweat form on your neck and forehead. Your whole body starts to feel clammy and you wobble a little. You nearly pierce the bladder when your dad grabs your hand. I know it's fun, but we're not trying to ruin it, Star. Would it ruin the meat if I puked all over the bladder too? It would! See, you're learning already. This isn't fun, but it's important. I need you to know how to survive. There are people counting on you. You cut the diaphragm to remove what's left of the intestines, then remove the heart and lungs. With the bags full of blood and guts, you've finished the first half. You're already dripping the blood. You repeat the process with the second deer. You finish and pack up. You return to the house. You're ready for a long shower, then a bath, and 3 more showers. And would covering myself in lemon-scented disinfectant be an entirely bad idea? You see your mom pacing around the living room. She's speaking frantically to someone on her e-glass. Her face is streaked with tears. You've never seen your mom cry before. Mom? Ask what's wrong. Mom, what's going on? She looks straight through you and her eyes scan the room. She's looking for your father. Dad dashes into the room and goes to her side. What happened? Are we safe here? Jax is badly injured and his father is dead. What the hell? Your heart starts pounding. You can barely move for the first few seconds, but you race to change your clothes. They won't let me visit Jax if I'm covered in deer blood. It's a health risk. What if that's the last time I ever see him? No, that's not helpful. I can't think like that. It's time to get going. Signature look. Festival shirt. New clothes from Mom. Okay, I'd rather go with a signature look, but festival shirt. This will work fine. I really just need to hurry. You head to the car as your parents fire it up. I feel gutted, like my insides are falling out. It's as if I'm that deer from earlier. Your hands are shaking as you drive to the hospital. Is he gonna be okay, Mom? What happened? You know as much as I do right now, sweetie. You don't believe her. They always know more than they tell you. This wasn't supposed to happen. Dad parks and you leap out of the vehicle, running through the front doors of the hospital. I need to see Jackson Lux, please. And who might you be? Family. We're his legal guardians. The nurse looks over some documents on the screen in front of her. She seems suspicious, but it all checks out. Of course. Right this way, Mr. and Mrs. Knight. There has to be more. I should beg Mom for details. Mom, what happened to Mr. Lux? He was killed in an accident, Scarlet. He's gone. I've known Jax's father my whole life. Even though I really never spoke to him, Jax must be devastated. We'll be holding the funeral pyre soon. By the house. Mom looks visibly shaken. Funeral rites are hard to talk about. You arrive at the hospital room, your heart's palpitating, and you feel like you're going to faint. You steel yourself and step to the doorway. The room is too bright and with garish fluorescent lighting. The E-screen is muted, but display news about the last Nephilim leader being captured and eradicated. You want to pull away, but can't help but pause and stare. It's a rerun from 3 years ago. A shackled, masked figure, Nyx, leader of Nephilim, is being taunted by a crowd of onlookers. Nyx is legendary. 700 years of war. All over his capture. Too many. He's a god. And yet, there he was, frail and captive, although he still looked terrifyingly strong. You wonder why they didn't show his face back when they were aired as this live. Maybe it was more important for him to die as a symbol than a person. The stadium is full of screaming onlookers, and Inquisitor holds a stern axe. Swings it down, and you close your eyes, shut tight, remembering what happened next. Nyx's head rolls across the stage. Nyx, the Lord of the Night, the Prince of Darkness, is no more, and the crowd cheers. With that, the new era began. The hope of all Nephilim was lost, and many factions surrendered right away. I don't think it really could have ended that easily. Knights and Nephilim are both too bloodthirsty. We'll always be at war. It's just like Murden said it would be. Why is this playing here? Did Jax turn it on? Hospital rooms generally play old newscasts on loop. Or you can finish your thought, Jax groans when a nurse tending to him steps aside to give you space. You pull your eyes to the bed. Jax is lying there, his eyes closed, his face covered in cuts. You rush to his side, take his right hand. The nurse is about to scold you, but Mom lays a hand on her arm. She's his best friend. Jax slowly opens his eyes. He sees your face and offers a faint smile. Star? Wow, you've changed a little in the 3 years since we last seen you. Jax? Start to move closer to him, but hesitate. Not sure if you'll hurt him. It's okay, Scarlet. They say I'll recover my dad, though. Jax, I'm so sorry. He squeezes your hand. Me too. There's a layer to his words that you don't understand. But he just lost his father. You don't expect him to return to normal right away. But he would never return to normal, and neither would you. After a couple of weeks, Jax is allowed out of the hospital, and he comes to live with you. Dad gets obstinate and prepares him a separate room, saying you're both teenagers and you can't be trusted. It wouldn't be appropriate, Star. Why not? He's like my brother. But he's not your brother. End of discussion. You put some finishing touches on the room. It's simple, but should work. After you finish hanging some posters with famous knights and cool poses, you pick him up from the hospital. He is silent the whole way home. Can't imagine what he must be going through. You help him up to his room. You sit together on the bed, and in the dim light, running his fingers over the tiny scar in your hand from the apex attack. He scowls. Everything's been different since then. Since that day they vanished, and now this. Yeah, it'll be different. We never talk about Brooke and Ella anymore. I've been thinking about them. Now that Dad's gone, it seems wrong that we don't talk about things that happened to us. Yeah, well, it's not great to keep it all bottled up, but it was hard on me. That was the worst night of my life. You really thought you were going to die from the poison in your system. No one believed you'd make it, but I did. And you didn't think I'd die when you heard about what happened to Dad and I, right? No way. You promised we'd be together forever, right? Back at Fortuna Festival? I remember. You rested your head on his shoulder. We live in a world that hardens people. It's pretty torn up. I should be realistic. I'm not going anywhere, Jax. I know. I'm just worried that I might lose you too. That's not gonna happen. There's a lot more good in this world than you think. Really? His eyes become distant. You make me worry, Jackson. Stand up. It's time to go, Jax. I need a minute. I'll catch up. Yeah, downstairs and out the door. The funeral pyre is set up a safe distance from the house. It's tradition for families to privately burn the remains of the deceased and respectfully lay them to rest. Cross your arms and shiver in the cold. Icicles are forming on the wood. You're outside for nearly half an hour before creeping back inside to find everyone. Jax is yelling at your parents. You've never heard him raise his voice at them before. I'm not going! I hardly even knew the guy. He was a jerk. You have to, Jax. I don't want to go. You can't just make me do this. It won't be long. We'll go out, say farewell to your father together. It's an important tradition. I understand why he's angry, but maybe he needs to say his goodbyes, even if he doesn't want to. The thing is the body and the essence of it is not going anywhere. You can always say goodbye, even after the fact. However, it might be something that'll help him. I don't know. This is tough. I feel like giving him some space. Come on, Dad, lay off him. Of course, Jax doesn't want to watch you cremate his father. Can you imagine how he feels? Yes, Scarlet, I can. Your grandfather burned on a pyre just like this. I did my duty as a son. I stood by and waited until the very last embers went dark. Jax needs to do this for his father. It's about paying his final respects. He knows that. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll go stand outside. But only a Scarlet does too. Sneak back outside, and it's not long before everybody joins you. Jax stands to the side in the distance. Your father says a few words about a man you've known your whole life. He was never the same since his wife died. You were told you'd be more sad if he ever cared about his son. Your father lights the pyre. It will burn through the night until nothing remains. You're outside for what feels like hours before the last embers extinguish, and Jax heads inside immediately. You don't follow. You watch the ash swirl in the early morning breeze. The next day, you're walking past the living room when you hear a news alert. Volume level 6, please. The screen's volume adjusts accordingly. The news talks about the capture of the Shadow of Rome, a high-level Zenith rebel. Inquisition Knights captured her only days ago. She is a celebrity among the rebel factions. She killed an Inquisitor on her quest to overthrow the Vatican and claim equal rights for Zenith. Strangely, her fate reminds you somewhat of Nyx, the Nephilim leader, as does her cause. Her execution is scheduled to take place during the coming week's Fortuna Festival. Looks like she isn't too lucky. The day is slow. You play a chess game with Dad while Mom stays in bed all day sick with a light fever. You're a few moves from winning when Dad gets an alert on his e-glass. He flips it over in his hand. Sorry, sir. Gonna have to finish this later. It's checkmate anyway. You lose, Dad. Huh. Guess it is. He stands up and heads up the stairs. The look on his face is suspicious, and you follow discreetly. The door to his office opens just a crack, and you lean in to listen. You can hear a mysterious voice talking to him. Something's not right. I should sneak away. I love when they play that music. Moonlight's on every time. You lightly sneak away. Heading back downstairs, Dad comes out of his office and catches you. Scarlet, were you... Never mind. What was that call about? He's silent for a second. The look on his face is painful and worried. Nothing I can tell you. Is something wrong? I can't tell you, Star, but I promise I will soon. Fine. You sigh. Is anyone in the stupid house ever going to be straightforward about things? Maybe. Someday, Star. Dad laughs and shuffles away. A slow evening of reading news leads you to wander around the house, somewhat bored and still curious about the call. Your parents are being lovey-dovey in the living room. It's a little too over the top this time. Do you have a moment, Miss Knight? A moment for what? My time is valuable. Ah, for indulgence, of course. My, I'll have you know I'm married, you mysterious handsome stranger. Warning, your parents are about to make out. Thank you, Evie. You monitor every goddamn thing, don't you? Thanks, Evie. Couldn't have figured that one out. Parents look over, laughing at each other. Promise me you'll find a man as loving as your father someday, Star. No promises. Way too gross for comfort. Leaving the display of affection, you head upstairs and lie down, quickly drifting off to sleep. Dad has nightmares that night, lasting late into the morning. You're woken up by his screams. You wonder if it's safe to shake him awake, and if this has anything to do with his e-glass call. You can only make out the words, "Forgive me." It's new updates, huh? Alright, I'll do that here in a second. It's very hard, but here's my hypothesis before we get to the final chapter of this week. I feel like the parents might have been, or might still be, a part of the rebel cause. I feel like one of the people that they may capture may have been Murden, eventually. And around that time, she'll, quote-unquote, awaken into her powers. And then she'll go forth and use them and become the next, quote-unquote, rebellion leader, and, probably save him, or maybe, the cause will be in his name. I don't know. But I just feel like that's where we're going with this. Like, she's going to be that super power. She's not going to just be a regular Nephilim. She's going to be one of the superpowers. So that would be cool. But at the same time, I guess we'll have to see. But that's my hypothesis right now as we stand. I mean, given, yes, of course we were going to see, her gain power, but I feel like she's going to be one of the super, super ones. With that being said, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below before we begin the next chapter. I'm going to go ahead and restart this, and then we'll begin chapter 5 of 5. And then all we have left is Calendar Girl, 9 chapters for this week. I got a little break. I was able to recuperate just a touch, but I digress. Life has a way of sucking what little bit you get back, and then taking even more from you. That's how life works. With that being said, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Head description below. Links to social media or Discord and a few links to support me and my content. And without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.